Hey everybody, this is Todd from toolboxbuzz.com. Today I want to show you a really cool tool from DEWALT. It's the DEWALT TrackSaw. This saw here is a combination of what you might call a circular saw, a track system, some clamps, and basically you can use this saw to cut some very straight lines, almost like kind of a portable panel saw. Certainly can help replace the needs of a table saw for cutting sheet goods. I'm going to be using it today on a project actually in the new workshop for Toolbox Buzz, and cutting down some large 4x8 sheets of plywood. And I just wanted to show you real quick how useful this is. And if you don't have a table saw or you don't have room for a table saw, this might be a good alternative again for cutting really straight lines, especially if you work with a lot of sheet goods. So stay tuned and I'll show you a little bit about the TrackSaw. So here we're demoing the TrackSaw, and one of the benefits of the TrackSaw is this straight edge system and the clamps. And if you look real close here, this straight edge has this slot in it where this clamp will go in, slides in, and then it slides underneath the workpiece. And then you can clamp up and clamp on a straight line. So if you look right here, I have clamped it so that it's right on my edge of my line right here, and this little rubber gasket that's running along here, I've already cut with it once, so now that gasket lines up perfectly with the workpiece. So I'll set up both ends of this cut and then cut this board on that line. Okay, before I actually use the TrackSaw, I just wanted to point out a couple features. Dust collection, which is really great. You can actually use this TrackSaw for undercutting doors in place without taking them off the hinges. So obviously dust control is a real great feature. Lots of controls here. You can actually do miter cuts with it. You can set depth of cut with it. Basically we're going to set this up on the track. See, now I've got the TrackSaw set up on the workpiece on the track. If you look real close here, you can see that this is going to ride on this track. It's got this, basically this rubber surface that this rides on, and it rides extremely smooth. So we got it set up on here. When we start the saw, there's a safety that's going to allow this thing to come down. The blade is inside here, and it runs very close to this face, so you can see when you're doing undercuts that you can be within probably a ½ inch of the work surface. Non-marring pads on the face of it to protect the surface. Anyway, that's going to plunge down. You could actually do a plunge cut with this if you want to set it up that way, and we should get a nice cut here. So let me turn off the camera for a second. I'm going to cut this piece and I'll show you the end result. Okay, I just finished this cut with the DEWALT TrackSaw. You can see here this cut is actually right along that rubber guide that I was showing you earlier, and it's a perfect cut. If you come down in here, you can see the saw is still sitting here on the track, and I don't know how close this thing can show that, but that rubber gasket is actually perfectly flush with that piece. You can see there's no chip out on here. Really nice cut. So, you know, if you want to make really nice straight cuts without a table saw, maybe on a job site, or if you have a small shop, the DEWALT TrackSaw is something you ought to consider. Okay, here's the TrackSaw. I've got the power shut off, and you can see that I've set the depth to cut this piece of plywood, and when this plunges down, there's actually a riving knife similar to a table saw, and the blade comes down. Again, you're only about a ½ inch from this face, which is really nice for undercuts, but comes down, cuts this. Again, you could do a plunge cut if you wanted, but you can see here that as I push this down, it goes in, and then it comes right up when you're done, locks in place. You can't, you know, it's locked in there safe, so you're not going to hurt yourself. Just finished that cut, and I wanted to show you how well the dust collection actually works. This just hooked up to a shop vac right now. If you look down here on the floor, I haven't cleaned anything. There's the scrap that fell onto the subfloor. There's not an ounce of dust anywhere on the floor from the saw. Extremely impressive. Again, this is partly due to the design. You've got this thing enclosed, entirely enclosed in that housing there, with a shop dust collection hooked up to it. You can actually collect, I'd say probably 95% of the dust, was also a really nice feature. So there you have it. That's the DEWALT TrackSaw. Again, I'll be doing quite a few projects with this over the next couple months to showcase it on toolboxbuzz.com and also over at homeconstructionimprovement.com. And hope you like this short little segment featuring the TrackSaw, and maybe you ought to go out and get one and try it yourself. I'm really pleased with it. Great quality, great features. This is Todd for toolboxbuzz.com. Thanks.